Treyshawn Holden, what has he shown you this offseason, and what steps have you seen him take over the course of the offseason?
Yeah, I feel like I've just seen steady growth. He's been working really, really hard. Someone who has been working hard throughout his time here. Just how Alabama is. It hasn't been his time, the last 2 years, but not everyone's seen what's going on throughout the week. But the last 2 years he's been here, he's been working day in and day out. He's grown, it feels like, every practice. And then in the offseason, he's been taking really a leadership role and being the guy who's been there the longest, knowing all of his stuff. Obviously we have some new faces, so helping everyone else with knowing the offense, knowing how everything operates. So I think that's probably been the biggest transition that I've seen from him is him stepping up as a leader in that wide receiver room. And I'm excited to watch him keep working with him, and I'm super excited for it.
You played with Brian Robinson last year. Just what was your reaction to the news that came out last night, and the rest of the locker room's reaction?
Yeah, obviously that's something that's really sad. Individually, us as a team, I think we're just sending our prayers and our love to B. Robin and his family in a tough time like this.
Okay, we'll stay over there with Michael. Hey guys, just kind of with questions for players, just pop your hands up when somebody's done, and I'll get to you. I'm not taking a list. We're not doing the whole thing we do with coach. Go ahead, Mike.
Just in general with your receivers, how have you developed that chemistry coming in with so many new guys from last year to this year? What's that process like for you?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, just the amount of reps we've been able to get. Just trying to get stuff on the field, having conversations about reps, watching film together, and then in the meeting room as well. Us making sure we're on the same page. Us talking about how we like things ran, how they like certain balls thrown, stuff like that. So it's just been a lot of communication, a lot of reps over time, and then now that we're getting to game planning, obviously it's a little bit more specific. And the more we communicate, the more on the same page, the better off we are.
Stay on the left, Steven.
How have you seen Todd even grow, being a transfer, coming in and getting that comfortability down so quickly?
Yeah, I think it's a good word. He's just become more and more comfortable with the offense. Obviously, he came in, great player, extremely talented, works hard. But just you see him get more and more comfortable with our calls, with our protections, with how we do everything. Him as a player, once he got here, he's been where he's been at. A great player when he got here. But like you said, just more comfortable with the offense, with how everything's going. And, whenever you're able to get more reps and more coaching, that's kind of a natural progression here.
What have you seen out of Kobe Prentiss and kind of work me through the relationship that you guys have kind of built throughout fall camp?
Yeah, he's had great energy since the moment he stepped foot here on campus. He's someone who wants to work, wants to get after it, always wants to be coached, and it just worked hard. He's been able to make some dynamic plays for us in practice and in scrimmages, and he's obviously worked his way up the depth chart. And really, I think it's just that willingness to work. He comes into every day with a super super great attitude, great mindset. He's always energetic. He's easy for everyone to kind of work with and bounce off of. So just his willingness to work, his openness, and then obviously the talent and athleticism he brings to the field.
Aaron, on this side.
Obviously, the goal is always to be a balanced offense, but for a few years, sort of the identity of this offense has been a big explosive plays. How would you characterize, after playing in the scrimmages, working through summer workouts with these guys, what would you characterize and identify the identity of this year's offense?
Yeah, I think we just want to be balanced. We want to be able to take what the defense can give us. For us, obviously, everyone loves big plays, explosive plays. But for us, however we can get points on the board is what we want to do. So when those big explosive plays are there, we want to do our best to make sure we take advantage of that. And, if it has to be a 3-4 yard run game, whatever it may be, short passes, whatever we need for us, it's just about taking what the defense gives us and making sure that we're balanced and multiple, and we can do whatever we feel like the coaches believe is best for us week by week. So for us, it's just making sure we're well-rounded, we're balanced, and then taking advantage of what the defense gives us.
Go to Charlie.
Just as a leader and a returning starter, what do you want to see from the offense to start the season?
For us, I think I just really want everyone to make sure we're on the same page and we're communicating. Obviously there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs through every offense, especially whenever you're starting out. But, we're playing against elite competition, so, it's going to come. But really for us, it's just making sure that we can weather whatever storm comes. We're consistent, we're communicating, we're on the same page. And I think when that stuff happens, then, good things tend to follow.
All right, here on the right side, on the middle. Bryce, week one this year compared to week one last year, what, if anything, is the difference in your comfort level going into your second year as a starter and having a whole year under your belt? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely experiences from the past that I can draw back on now that, obviously I didn't have going into last year. But I think just being more comfortable as a leader, being a little bit more comfortable in the offense, being more comfortable with OB. At this time last year is my first time going to a game with him, his first time going to a game with me, and now obviously we have a lot of those under our belt. So just knowing how the operation offensively works, having been in situations before, with some guys that are new, some guys that have been there with me last year. With all that stuff, I think that comfort level is just a little bit higher for me.
Carrie?
Hi, Bryce. So coming into not only the offseason, but then the preseason, it's safe to say you knew that you were going to be the starter. But I just asked Coach, he said, you don't want a team to be complacent. And so I know you're a competitive guy, but knowing coming in that your job is safe, I just want to know, how do you keep that edge? And how do you see that just across the board, that you're, this team in the depth, that competitive edge is always there no matter what?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, Coach always makes sure there's a competitive environment, and that speaks to everyone. So for me, it's pushing myself to be the best version of myself for the team. I feel like there's a lot of room for me to grow on the field, grow as a leader, and there's a lot of work to be done. And that was kind of the mindset that I took going into the offseason. So it was really about pushing myself, like you said, not being comfortable and complacent, and finding the things I want to get better at and that we need to get better at as a unit, and making sure that I'm pushing myself, we're pushing each other as a team to accomplish our goals.
Okay, we got time for one or two more questions. Unless we're done. James had a follow-up here. We'll finish up with James.
A lot's been made about, getting 3 new wide receivers. And I know as a quarterback, you're trying to kind of get those guys kind of coached up to what you're looking for in terms of every single play you're trying to make out there. But how do you prevent putting more pressure on yourself to let those guys kind of grow? And how do you kind of work through those growing pains?
Yeah, I think it's just knowing that it's going to be a process. We have new faces coming in. We had some transfers, some guys that are stepping up into different roles. But at the same time, there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be you're not going to look like how you want to look. The first day of spring ball, first day of fall camp. But it's a process, and that's obviously a very consistent theme here. But regardless, it's just making sure that we're pushing ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. We're always communicating, we're always talking. And I think it's really encouraging for me just to see the growth that we both had, that me and all the receivers had collectively. The more reps we get, the more we talk about things, you can definitely feel the chemistry and connection growing throughout the year, throughout the offseason at least. So I'm excited to watch it continue grow and to keep putting the work. And, it's a process, but it's encouraging for sure.
We do one more quick follow-up in the back. We'll be done. Unless Will wants a question.
Hey, again. Okay, quick one here. So I kind of came on this terminology on my own, calling you the ice, Will the fire. So with him in the room, I love the dynamic of your personalities just being so different and having those different leadership styles. I just want to ask, do you feed off of that, the fact that he is so fiery, and how does that kind of vibe with you just kind of being the calm, cool, and collected guy you are?
That's a great question. It's funny because there's definitely that side of Will, and I think on the field a lot of times, obviously the position we play, how we both are, I think there is kind of some contrast that leads us to kind of round each other out. We definitely feed off each other in practice. He thinks he sacks me. He's wrong like 95% of the time. But I give him some. It's good for his self-esteem. We go back and forth. We feed off each other that. But the funny thing is, we're actually off the field. I'd like to think we're pretty similar as far as that fiery, crazy, competitive guy that Will is on the field. He has definitely a different side of him. So on the field, definitely, I feel like, we feed off each other and we can kind of balance each other out for the team. And then off the field, I think we have more similarities than differences.
Okay, Bryce, thanks for your time.
For sure. Appreciate you guys.